Okay, so our script is looking pretty good. So now we can continue adding some things. So we'll go to the top, and then here at the top, just before the start function, after the initial variables that we created, we'll add a few more variables. So the first one that we'll have is a variable that's supposed to take the current position of the player, right? So we can say private. Let me go first. Let me put up the comment. The current position of the player. So for this, we can say private car position. So now they are using vectors here. So vector 3, because new vector 3. Okay, so all that a vector does is it allows us to store 3 values, and those 3 values, especially if we're recording the position of something. Let's look at this example. So when we click on the capsule, you'll see that its position has got the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. So this is its position: 0, 0, 0, 0 on the x, 0 on the y, 0 on the z-axis. So of course we can create 3 variables and store each number one by one, but why would we do that when we have a variable, a vector, that can store all 3 variables at once? So that's the point of creating this variable, to store x0, y0, and z as 0. Okay, so that's the position, the current position of the player. And then we can also create one to store the target position. Okay, where's this player going? So when it jumps, where is it going to land? So we can also create a variable, call it target, and then this is also going to be a vector 3. So again, because it has to store the x, the y, and the z index. Okay, so those are the 3 additional variables that that are needed. Now, going forward, we can then go ahead and where's our jump function? We can go ahead into the jump function and then set up some simple logic. Okay, so firstly, check, okay, if this dot start jump, okay, if start jump is true, then we return. So we in this case, if start jump is true, we return meaning we go out of this function. We don't go ahead and do anything else, because this is like if someone presses 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times very quickly. We don't want it to jump 3 times in the air. We just want it to jump once. So how do we stop it from jumping every single time, even though the player is already jumping? So all we do is we have to first of all check, has the player already started jumping? If the player has already started jumping, then we will come out of this jump function by returning, so that we don't make another jump in the middle of another jump. All right, I don't know if I need to explain further. You can let me know in the comments. So if the player is already jumping, okay, then we make sure the function does not make another jump. So this will prevent us from jumping twice or 3 times or 4 times to make sure that the player is only jumping once, even if they press the button 2 times or 3 times, because it will be checking to only run, or rather the code that I'll put underneath here will only run if the player is not jumping, if the start jump is false. Okay, so meaning here I'll just put that as a comment. So the following code only runs if the player is not jumping currently. Okay, so with that done, we can then go ahead. So now at this point it means that the player isn't jumping, meaning this was false. Okay, meaning it's as it is here, it's false. So since it's false, the player can start jumping. So we can then say this dot start jump, and first of all we'll set it to false, to true. Okay, so we'll set it to true so that no other jump runs together. Okay, so we want to prevent 2 button clicks from running at the same time. So the first thing that's happening here when we enter the jump function, jump by step function, is we check if the player is already jumping, and we do this by seeing that the start jump is actually false. If it's true, it means someone clicked the button, which will change in here, and so the player is already jumping. So if the player is already jumping, then we will come out of this function. But if the player is not jumping, we will first of all make sure that as we start the jump, no other jump will interrupt this, or no other jump will go in addition to this jump, right? So we first of all set that to true. Then once we set that to true, we then set up the number of steps that the player is going to jump. Now the number of steps is going to be based on whether you clicked the left button or the right button. Remember, if you click the left button, you jump once. If you click the right button, you jump 2 times. So based on left or right click. Okay, so left will supply 1. This is what will come from here, and then right will supply 2, which will come from here. So depending on the one that you click, we'll tell it to jump 1 step or 2 steps. So this is the variable that's coming here, step, and this is the one we set up here. And then this value will later on will be bringing it from these two clicks. Right, so after we check the number of steps the player is supposed to jump, we can then go ahead and record the jump time. So the current jump time, so first of all set it at 0. Okay, so it's meant to how do we put it, like I think that the official code says let's see, do I still have this page? The official code says where's the to reset the jump timer. Okay, so to be able to make sure that the next time the jump happens, it's not using the previous time. It should use its new time. All right, so that's yes, this one here. So current jump, reset the jump time. So this will make sure that it's back at 0. So when the player is jumping, it's going to be counting, but then after the jump, it has to be back at 0. So because here we're writing the logic for the jump, then we should make sure that this is also returned to 0. So let me just say, I think this one, I think I didn't create its initial variable. Okay, I'll create it at the end. I'll create it towards the end. Okay, so that's the point there. Then for the jump speed, we can then say current jump speed equals this dot jump step, this dot jump time. Let's see. Okay, then so the current jump speed is a division. So this, the current jump step, so it's either 1 or 2 divided by the jump time. Okay, so I'll again, so these variables that have to do with time, I'll set them up again correctly. The ones that are missing at the top. Then we need to get the position of the node. So after the jump, where is this object going to be? So is it going to be here? Is it going to be here? Is it going to be there? So we need to get its position. So say this dot node dot get position. Then we'll say this dot current position. So we'll say we're getting the position of the player. And then lastly, so for the actual movement, so we'll say vec3 dot add. So here all we're doing is translating the numbers that have been crunched in terms of where the player is and where they should be, and then we'll be creating a new vector based off of those numbers. So it takes in 3. So say this dot target. So this is where the player currently is. Just a moment. This dot target position. Then this dot. So that's where the player is going. Then where is the player currently? Current position. Then based off of these, we can then create a new vector. Now, for the game, well, at this point anyway, we'll only be interested in moving the x-axis, right? So the x-axis is the one that will be moving. The x-axis means that it will be moving left to right or right to left, but not up and down and not front to back. So up and down, that's the y-axis, and then front to back, like coming towards your screen or going away from your screen, that's the z-axis. So in this case, we only want it to move in a direction that's horizontal, not vertical. So in this case, this is where we'll put our jump step. So this dot jump step. Then once we put the jump step, we'll put 0 on the y-axis so that it doesn't move up or down. And then we'll also put 0 on the z-axis so that it shouldn't move closer to the screen and it shouldn't move further away. It should just stay exactly where it is. So that's the idea. Okay, that's the idea. So now let's see here for those variables that are missing. So we've got current jump time and current jump speed, also the jump time itself. So right? So that's like 3 of them. Okay, so those ones need to be added. So start off with the jump time itself. So this one will be the total jump time. How long has the player jumped? So we'll say private. I need to write it exactly the way it's here. So I think I'm missing a. Need to write it exactly the way it has to show up. So say this lowercase. Okay, yes. So jump time. So jump time is a number. For now, it's at 0. So then after the jump time, we have to set the jump speed. So current jump speed. So private current jump speed, also a number, which is also 0 at this point. So what's the speed of the jump? Okay, is there anything else that I'm missing? Current jump time. Okay, so this one here. So we can then say private okay, so we've defined all of them. So the jump time, okay, how long has the player jumped? The jump speed, how fast are they jumping? So the jump speed is a calculation of how many steps they're jumping divided by, so this is a forward slash, by how long they need to jump, right? So this is pretty much it. So this is enough of scripting for this session. So I'll end the video here. Like and subscribe, leave a comment on aspects that don't make sense that you need me to explain. I'll interact in the comments and hopefully help where it's not making sense. But if there are other developers looking at the video, especially from the Cocos forum or from the company, I'm sure they can also give you some help in there. But yeah, that's our end. Have a good day.